Tonight, the saga of Bloody Bobby, who I've now reviewed in two different movies, continues as the story behind those movies is just as intriguing as the demonic people killing child is. An exclusive interview tonight with the creator of Bloody Bobby, Ryan McGonigal, as cinematic class is about to begin. And your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and the purveyor of truth in movies. And that truth is that Black Pumpkin was really a good horror film. And that's why I'm very happy to have with me tonight Ryan McGonigal, who is the creator of the deadly demon child, Bloody Bobby. Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, now there's a big story behind Bloody Bobby, but you are Bloody Bobby's creator. So explain to us how this character came to be and how he formulated in your mind and then made its way onto script paper.
Well, it's kind of simple. I came from the professional wrestling world, so I had a little bit of showmanship behind me. Retired from that. A couple years after that, I go to a Halloween party in Whittier, California, where they have like the old Victorian type homes. Mm-hmm. And actor Kurt Clendenin was there, and Dave Uchansky. And Kurt, just met him, got really drunk, and he disappeared from the party. In real life, he disappeared. And because this house was next to like Whittier Hills, where people just can wander off, people actually got scared for him. And it just, because these guys were like filmmakers and stuff, it just kind of jarred something in my head about, someone going missing and the town searching for him. And that was kind of the birth of Bloody Bobby right there. A drunk actor at a Halloween party.
Wow, okay. Now, when Black Pumpkin came out, I watched this movie and I liked it an awful lot. And the whole idea is this is it's a child, but it's a demon child. And in fact, the mask used in that movie is on the wall there behind you. Yeah, that's a great mask that you had for the lady that played that part. But I came out and said I really like this. It had all of the elements that a nice independent horror film should have, and really enjoyed it. And I wanted to see the character again. Well, lo and behold, two things happened. First, other critics I know, text messages, emails, what the hell's wrong with you? This is, why did you like this? That type of thing. I get this every year. And then I said in the course of the review, I really like this character of Bloody Bobby, and I would really like to see it again. Lo and behold, less than 2 months later, Bloody Bobby is back, and oh my God, sometimes you got to watch what you wish for. This one, wow, this was not what I was expecting. Now, I should tell everybody that Black Pumpkin was actually the second Bloody Bobby movie, and the one that came out 2 months afterwards, Legend of Fall Creek, was actually the first. There is such a huge difference between these two films. So, Ryan, tell us what transpired between that first one and the second one?
Well, basically, when we made at that time, it was called just Bloody Bobby. We had a different director on board and a producer, and they were just really ready to cash a check. They didn't care how anything turned out. So much so that they were writing their own checks a little too high for the budget.
Oh,
So a very small movie, we had a less than $100,000 to make, was half of that time that got on screen.
I just want this all to go away. People are going to take away from this whatever they want. It's not going to stop it from becoming some twisted urban legend.
I can't finally wait to see you tonight in person. My heart is beating faster just thinking about it.
Mine too. I'm gonna meet up with him tonight for the first time ever. Yeah, we're going to this big Halloween party.
This town gets a little anxious.
Another gutless corpse in Diablo's den.
He spent the last 20 some odd years trying to forget about that place.
It's not gonna go away.
Parents are going to find their kids in the dark chanting,
Bloody Bobby, Bloody Bobby, Bloody Bobby.
What happened was I learned from after the movie we wrapped. I was on set. I was just the writer and I did a little producing, but it was my first time. So I didn't really know what was going on. And then afterwards, I got friended by a Hollywood guy named Bernie Weinstein. And he said, your director just didn't skip town. He skipped the country.
oh, wow.
So I had no one to take me through post. So the executive producers who were still here basically had me fire anybody who wasn't doing anything anymore and got me in front of the footage we had to literally piece together a film off of the footage we had because we had no money. We had a little bit of money for some reshoots. Did some mainly driving stuff. But that was it. So I had a script and then I had a movie or pieces of a movie, and then we had to make it happen. So my idea was, well, let's just make it a grindhouse film and using the effects of the film ripping and stuff like that, because that's kind of how it felt. It felt like a grindhouse film when everything started playing out. And there was a lot of hard work by he worked with us later, Chris Corman, who did some editing and some sound, and Dan Pico, who did some editing. And I really refer to Bloody Bobby as our Halloween 6. Just everything that could go wrong went wrong, but we just kind of throw it out there. Now, we did a film festival in 2016. This is already after a couple of years of working on this thing. And the Capel Intergalactic Film Festival, which we kind of helped found. This is our first year. And, we have the screener, so we had the actors and the producers, all that show up. And then next thing you know, like more people started showing up. So I go, let's just keep it going. And in that little turnout, I got approached by someone to do a sequel to Bloody Bobby at the time. But at that time, I wanted nothing to do with no more Bloody Bobby. I was done. And they doubled the budget. And then I said, well, if you want me to write it, then I get to direct it, because if anyone's going to this film, it's going to be me. and there you go. That's how we got there.
Well, just out of curiosity, was there any kind of repercussions for the folks on the first movie who kind of absconded with the funds?
it was one of those things where, when you deal in Hollywood, like how much money can you throw at something to give some, to sue them or repercussions? Like really, like I also had at one point a script stolen from me, and it was made into a movie. And so it got to the point where you're looking at it going, okay, I could make a lot of money here, but at the same time, I'm going to be blackballed by this production company, and it's going to take years in litigation, just to come up. Just think of that story where Coming to America, how many years, like 2 decades, Coming to America, where the writer finally, got paid for what he did on that.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've learned is, be a little bit more careful with the property and who you bring on to work on things. I treat everything as something to build off of. When it came to Bloody Bobby, I did get Black Pumpkin, and I got the director's chair, even for the next 2 that we're doing, which are Bloody Bobby films. And when we got with the writing, I have real people who's been in the industry knowing that I wrote that movie and knowing what it grossed. I kind of, it almost like proved that I could be here.
I see.
So it is what it is. And I like to think that I have a lot more scripts and stories in me. So,
Now, not to pat yourself on the back, but the different tone, the different mien between the 2 movies. Would you attribute that to you and your approach to the horror character, or were there other people who were influencing you on the second go round?
Well, the second go around, I really wanted that vibe for Bloody Bobby, Legend of Fall Creek, but we didn't have it. So as I'm sitting there more in the editing room, trying to figure things out and working with people, this idea for the opening of Black Pumpkin came to me, where Sheriff Levitt is watching Night of the Living Dead and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So that kind of spawned like a little idea, and wanting to pay tribute to our like movies that have influenced me throughout the years just seemed like a great idea. Like, let's play all the tropes. Let's do, let's do the slasher stuff. Let's, you take a little bit and you spin it around. And then since Black Pumpkin happens on Halloween, I really wanted it to be more kid oriented, more of a kid type scenario. Bobby's a kid. Let's throw some kids in there. So, and that's where Elliot and Pork Chop, came into play.
Now, you said to me in the emails we exchanged before this interview that Bloody Bobby will be no more. And I got to know why you're getting rid of that character. I think he's great.
Well, I should say that. So there's going to be a documentary that we're going to be cutting together that will do a film festival run called The Good, the Bad, and the Bloody, explaining the stories of, putting these 2 micro budget movies together. And then I want to, there's still an idea that if there is more to be said about Bloody Bobby, there will be a 3rd one. And I have a treatment for it. But before we get there, I have a house in the middle of nowhere that we're getting ready to go into production. And then after that, I'm going to be playing around with 3D called Nature Trail to Hell in 3D. So,
okay, now wait a minute. You have, let me check my notes here. You have your own production company now. That's called Twisted Tall Tales. Now, are these 2 new movies? Are they coming out through your production company?
There's actually even more to that. The next 2 movies will come out after a company called Filmamite, which is going to be incorporating overseas investors. And so when I write a horror story, that is considered a Twisted Tall Tale. So both of these films will be a Twisted Tall Tale and a Filmamite production.
Gotcha. Now, give us a little sneak peek on these, especially the next one coming up, the 2 movies that you have in the hopper. Give us a little rundown on what you're doing in them and what the story is.
Well, I tend to always take criticism from, what people say about the movies and try to up it. Like, okay, watch this. I could do that. So when it comes to what people didn't like about Black Pumpkin is it wasn't gory enough. I didn't play with the practical effects. So I joined forces with Jim Ogala from Shudder. He did the core on Shudder.
Yes.
Big time special effects dude. And it's this House in the Middle of Nowhere is kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre with a Hellraiser vibe to it. And it really happens over one night. So we don't give the audience enough time to rest. It's just go, 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 go. And some of the special effects that I had written in the script, when Jim read it, that's the reason we got him on board, because he's a horror movie guy. And two in particular, he's never seen before. So he goes, this is going to be like the movie's calling card. I want to be a part of it. And there you go. So House in the Middle of Nowhere, Texas Chainsaw, Hellraiser, little vibe. The one after that is way more complicated. It's called Nature Trail to Hell in 3D. And it's a documentary about finding a film from the 80s that was never released.
Is this going to be a found footage thing?
Half, like 50-50. So you have a documentary or a mockumentary of the filmmaker remembering a trailer to a movie he saw, never saw the movie. No one have ever seen the movie. And then by hook or crook, he finds the movie. So then we show the film.
Ah, gotcha.
So there you go. And so
well, they sound pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a jump from the Fall Creek Valley world, that's for sure.
Yeah. So after all of that stuff is over and done with, there is a possibility there may be another.
I think so. The treatment I have for a one more is Black Pumpkin Return to Fall Creek Valley, and that will kind of deal with the lineage of Bloody Bobby. After that, I'll probably if people want to do it, I'll hand the reins to someone else and let them take over. We have a couple filmmakers that work with us that would want to take a stab at Bloody Bobby.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, you mentioned in the opening that you were involved for some time ago in professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I've got to say off the bat that, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because you can't believe everything you read on the internet, but it did say that at one time you were training with one of my favorite wrestlers, Samoa Joe.
Yes, I was the original trainer on him. Yeah.
I think that guy's great, and he's so underused where he's at right now.
No, he's had a bad run with knees, but he came to us when we had a wrestling school in Stanton, California, and he was instant. He had so much just potential. He was so raw, but at the same time he knew he would pick up things really quick. So I think within a month he had his first match.
Wow.
And he's so big, and one of the things that I remember the most is we would talk old school moves, and he really wanted to do the Arn Anderson spine buster so much. And so I just had to let him get to a certain point. And and he did it just like Arn, where he gets him picked up and then flops down with the big pow. But yeah, Samoa Joe's great. And I'm so happy for his success out there and all that stuff. And it's weird. Like, people will still, when they hear what my character name was, they do still connect it with Samoa Joe, which that's very cool. It's very grateful for being remembered a little bit.
Hey, for a while there, you actually ran your own league. I think it was the UIWA.
UIWA.
Is that league still around? Are you still involved with that?
No, I kind of after around when in 2001, just injuries piled up. So I just didn't want to do the wrestling thing anymore. I was going through a a divorce, and I had like a young daughter I had to take care of. So I just had to do something more, just safer. Yeah.
So you turned to a demon child.
I turned, yeah.
Hey, how was you used to write a lot of the promotions for your wrestling league and the wrestling shows. Tell us how that writing those little scenarios to go with the pro wrestlers tied into your character development in the movies.
There's great storytelling in wrestling. Can be, if you have the live shows, you have to understand that people that sit there don't really know who is wrestling. So in that 2.5 hours, you have to put a show together as if it's, it's a live performance, like you're putting on a stage act, right? And if they like you enough, they'll come to like the next live show. So that just makes everything compact. And so you have a very limited amount of time to say who the good guy is, who the bad guy is. So you keep things a little bit simpler. On TV is the other way around, because you can evolve. You can see the wrestlers that are connecting with the crowd, and then from there build up a persona. And a lot of times, you'll get these guys, they don't connect with the crowd. Then you'll get a couple guys that do. Then you take them into a character mode, and then all of a sudden, well, that character doesn't work. Then we're not going to knock them down. So you're just really trying to build. And people like Samoa Joe just had that instant pop. And then there's other guys that we've worked with that took a couple years, but it's fun. When we were doing the writing, it was the Attitude Era. So, you're allowed to flip off the crowd and all that stuff.
Yeah. Now you got to worry about the little kids.
Yeah, now it's PG. Yeah, it's not.
Death of pro wrestling.
Yes, yeah.
Ryan, I think this is great stuff. I'm glad you cleared up the story of what happened there with Bloody Bobby. Like I said in my reviews, I think if everybody just goes to Black Pumpkin first, stays with that movie, and then goes on from there, I think it's going to be an awful lot better, because I thought that one was really, really well. Do you have any time frame or schedule for House in the Middle of Nowhere?
Yeah, we're looking to get that thing, because again, with the COVID rules and shooting film, we're out in California where, it's a little bit tighter on certain things.
Yes, very tight, yes.
And so we're going to, hopefully we'll start shooting in late spring, early summer. It's only a 16-day shoot with special effects. Everything will be practical, so post will be not as difficult because there's going to be no special effects, CGI. This is a total, almost like a tip of the hat to what Tom Savini, did.
Yes.
And I want to keep it like that. And so we're hoping that we can get this one out, because we talked with Uncorked probably around December, January again.
Oh, that'll be quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be a nice turnaround. Yeah, very good. So the two movies coming up are House in the Middle of Nowhere and Nature Trail to Hell. I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to those. Don't let me down, Ryan.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm on my apology tour. So thank you.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you taking the time out to talk with us and talk with us about Bloody Bobby. That's pretty interesting stuff. And for you folks watching, we'll be back with a whole lot more right after this.
Diablo's Den has been the setting for pretty much every tall tale campfire story in Fall Creek Valley.
Hey! Whoa! What are you doing back there?
I'm doing a documentary on Diablo's Den for school. Who's up there?
What's going on?
We wanted to see if you guys want to go up to Diablo's Den bonfire tonight.
Anybody that has lived in Fall Creek Valley long enough has heard the tales of what went on up there over the years. That Fall Creek Valley is being haunted by an evil demonic spirit known as Bloody Bobby.
find their kids in the dark chanting. As if they're trying to channel his spirit. They're gonna hear their kids whispering, "Bloody Bobby, Bloody Bobby, Bloody Bobby."
Say, I would like to thank once again Ryan McGonigal for stopping by and talking with us this evening. The story of Bloody Bobby. The story behind the scenes was just as interesting as the story that was on the screen. Ryan, thanks again, and we look forward to your future endeavors, folks. Now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.